Welcome to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the new release from Dior, Spice Blend. So stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Dior's Spice Blend was released just this year, 2019, and this was actually a release I was quite excited for because I do really enjoy spicy fragrances. Spice Bomb Extreme, those are two of my favorite fragrances of all time. So this one was definitely something I was looking forward to. Were you guys as excited for this release as I was? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Now, to get into the note breakdown, this one has top notes of rum and ginger. The middle notes are pink pepper, black pepper, and nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, and coriander. The base notes are bay leaf and woodsy notes. Now, in the very opening of this one, I get a huge dose of rum and ginger, and that rum has a little bit of a sweetness to it and a little bit of a sort of watery quality. And this is actually a really enjoyable opening. This bit lasts maybe about 10-15 minutes, and at this point I don't actually get a lot of spices. I get a little bit of cinnamon poking through, but it's really dominated by rum and ginger in the opening. Now after that calms down a little bit, I still do get the rum, but the cinnamon really comes to the forefront, and this becomes a much spicier fragrance. Now, I know I say much spicier, but I don't mean like loudly spicy, especially if you're familiar with the opening of like Spice Bomb Extreme. It's not nearly that in your face. It's just more that the note that dominates it is cinnamon. Now, I do still get this sort of watery quality that kind of feels almost like a spiced rum at times, which is really, really enjoyable. I do really like spiced rum. It's one of my favorite drinks, probably. It's something that I definitely drank a lot more when I was younger, so it does have a lot of good and fun memories associated with it. And so I do kind of like that mixture of spices in with the rum, almost like you have put spices directly into a cup of rum, creating like a spiced rum. Now, when this one dries down, it is somewhat linear, but to me there's definitely a very definitive mid. And in that mid, I get a lot more of the black and the pink pepper, and the rum note calms down a lot more. And at this point, it's really a lot more punchy and a little bit more forward with the spiciness, and I definitely get more dominant of the black pepper and the pink pepper, with some notes of that cinnamon still. Now, that lasts maybe half an hour or so, or an hour, until it calms down even more. And it is still dominated by spiciness, but again, for me, the rum emerges a little bit more. Now, it is definitely in the background at this point, but I do actually get a nice dominant note of the rum throughout the life of this fragrance, which definitely adds to the composition, in my opinion. It really does add this little bit of sweetness and this nice boozy quality that dials back all the other spices just enough to make it a really well-rounded fragrance. Now, all in all, the performance for this one is also quite nice. The performance is long-lasting, so I get about 8 hours on my skin, sometimes a little bit more. And I think that is definitely a nice longevity. The projection is pretty good for about 2 hours, maybe around arm's length. But the thing to keep in mind is that this is actually a fairly subtle fragrance. So even if somebody smells it, it doesn't really smack them in the face. It more greets them, if you want to think about it that way. It's more a little bit inviting, and it's definitely easy to take. This isn't one that's really going to punch people in the face. It's not one that's going to announce your presence. And again, even though this one does have some projection to it for the first few hours, it definitely isn't loud in that sense. It's subtle, it's somewhat subdued, although very spicy, with a mixture of that rum. Now, after that point, it does definitely sit a bit closer to the skin. Not quite a skin scent, but fairly close to it. Decent sillage, especially at this point. If my hands move around or whatever, I might catch a whiff of it. But it's definitely not something that's going to be beast mode for like 6 or 7 hours. It has nice projection for about 2 hours, calms down quite a bit into a more cozy fragrance. And I do actually like this one quite a bit overall. It has aspects of it, especially deeper in the dry down, that remind me a little bit of Spice Bomb. That sort of sweetness of the rum mixed in with the cinnamon Guys at times give me that Coca-Cola vibe that I love a lot. And it does have a nice spiciness. This was definitely not what I was expecting from this fragrance. I was definitely expecting something more in your face, something more loud, something that would really punch you in the face with spices. That's not quite what you get here. It's a very balanced, very subtle, sophisticated, classy kind of a spicy fragrance. There is also hints of woodiness. I don't get a ton of the woodsy notes. I do get just a little touch of them. But ultimately, it's a very nice fragrance. Ultimately, this is one that I am glad I checked out. I might, at some point, try and pick up a bottle of this one because I do actually enjoy it a lot. And I think if you like spicy fragrances, if you like the original Spice Bomb, if you like even Spice Bomb Extreme, you might like this one. I would recommend checking it out. Again, it's not super in your face, even though it is quite spicy. And I think it's a very enjoyable fragrance, very well done. And it is one of those ones that just is nice to smell. I do like it a lot. And yeah, go out there, get your nose on this one. Spice Blend by Dior. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.